In this video, we will see how to extract some information or part of the values within the date column or within the date data type. But before we go into that, let's insert two more records into our table, into the people table. And you can copy this query or the record and just insert it. But to quickly go through, no, let's just insert it and then we'll run through what we have. So execute. Now let's print out our table. All right, so now we have 4 records. The 2 new records we added was Fowler Smith and Paul Kelly. What I'm gonna do is to open a new dialog query box and we can print out our table again. What we want to do is to print out a portion of the birth date. Right now, if we look at our birth date column, we have the year, the month, and the day. What if we only want to print out the year and not include the day or the month? How do we do that? I'm going to write out the query first and we'll go through it together. So select. We use the keyword year and we select the column which we want to extract the year from, and that's the birth date column, and would say from people. Let's just do this for now. So what we're saying is this: we have our birth date column, but instead of displaying the full birth date 1997-0808, we only want to retrieve the year from that column. Let's run this. So now we see that the year has been retrieved, and of course this hasn't changed our data. What we have stored in the table still remains the same, but now we just printed out the year. Instead of printing out the year, the month, and the day, we choose to print out the year. We can of course print out other columns as well, so let's select year, birth date, and we can use an alias here and say as year of birth, and then let's print out the birth time, and that's fine. So from people. When we run this, so we have our 2 columns, the year they were born and the time. What if we want to print out just the month and not the year or the day? Similar to how we use the year keyword, all we need to do now is just to use the month keyword to say, now I don't need the year, I just want to see the month which our people were born. And we can call these as, let's say, as birth month. From people. And when we run this, it shows us the months that were born. And of course we can have multiple columns as well. Just going to copy and paste that, and let's include the, let's include the birth date. I'm going to copy this, just cut that. Right, so what we want to do is to print out the month from the birth date column. We use an alias, birth month, and then we also print out the birth date. When we run this, now we have the month has been printed, with the birth date as we requested. And as you may have guessed, yes, we can print out the day as well. So just the day. And we'll say as, let's say as day of birth. And that's fine. And we just say from people. And when we run this, it prints out the day. What if instead of printing out the month, the figure for the month, we want to print out the name? So if we run this again, it shows us 8, which will be August, 2 February, 9 September, and February. Instead of printing this out in numbers, what if we want to print out the name? We want it to say August or February or September. What we need to do is we use the select and we use the keyword DateName. We open our parentheses, and now within the birth date column, what do we, because we have the month and we have the day, which could be spelled out. What do we want to spell out? So let's say months, because that's what we want. So we want the month, and I'll go through this again from birth date. So from people. So let's go through this quickly. So we're using the DateName keyword because this allows us to be able to print out our month to spell it out rather than just in number. We want to say the name. So we use the keyword DateName. Within the birth date, we have the year, we have the month, and we have the day. Both the month and the day can be printed as a name. So we have to indicate what part of that date do we want to be printed out. And here we're saying we want the month. So we have the comma and then the column. So when we run this, now we see it printed out as August. Let's add both the day and the year to the printed table. So we'll have select. So we have DateName again. And now what we want is we want the day. We want the day to be printed from birth date. And we'll give the alias later. And we want the year to be printed out as well from birth date. From people. Right, so what we're saying is this: print out the day, print out the name of the month from the column birth date, print out the day from the column, and print out the year from the column. And let's run this first and then we'll give an alias. So now we have August 8, 1987. And then we can call this, let's say, as, let's call it birth month, and we'll call this birth day, and then we'll call this birth year. Right, so when we run this, okay, so that's how we can extract using the different keywords, the DateName, the day, as well as the year. All right, what if we want to spell out the months? To do that, very similar but slightly different. So we start again with our select. We have our date name. We have a month. And let's say as per month again. Now we will use DateName again because we want the day, we want the name of the day. And the keyword for that is weekday. So with day of birth, date, and we just call that as birthday. And then finally, we want the year of the birth date. And we'll call that as birth year. Okay. So let's print this out. So now we see that both the month and the day is now, we now have the name. So we have August, well, I guess we should go Friday, August Friday 1997. Should be the other way. But you know what, you understand what I mean. So really what we just want to do here is to spell out, or to give, we want the name rather than just the number for both the month and the day of the week. And that's what we've been able to do now.